Hello and thank you for purchasing the CTA Button Shopify section by qwiqode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use it. With this section, you can add a custom button and apply custom styling to it. If we go to the section settings, we'll see multiple options, and the first one is the button class. And a class is a way to style your button. By adding a class in this field, you can apply custom styles like sizes or colors. For example, if your theme uses a class called primary btn to style the buttons, you'll see that adding that class in here will apply that styling. But for this example, I want to add my own styling. I don't want to use the same styling of the rest of the buttons on my theme, so I'm gonna remove it. I'll leave it blank, but you have that option. Next, we have the button label, and maybe we can add something like see all products and add a link to a collection. And down here, we have an option for opening that button link on a new tab. So when this is enabled and a user clicks on it, they will open that link on a separate tab like this. But for now, I'm gonna keep it disabled. Next, we have the button animation options, and the first one is to enable the flicker. So when this is enabled, you'll see that the button has this animation like that. Okay, and you can adjust the speed of that animation. Okay, so maybe if we add 5 seconds, we'll see that the fade takes more time. But for now, maybe I'm gonna keep it at 2. Next, we have the button area styling, and the first option is the button width. Let's say you want to expand your button to be 300 pixels, so you can add that value in here. So you will see that will expand like that. But for now, I'm gonna leave it blank because I want to use the auto width. Next, we have the button alignment, and by default it's center, but you can also align it to the left or to the right. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna keep it here. Next, we have the same for mobile, the button width, the button alignment. Okay, and down here we have the section styling. And by default it's full width with the content max width of 1280. So that means that the section will expand all the way, but the content will stay here. But actually, because we have the real full width enabled, we'll see that this will be ignored. For example, if I align the button to the left, and this is enabled, you'll see that it always expand all the way. But if we disable this, you'll see on full width that even though it expands all the way, the content will stay in that size on the 1280. Maybe we'll see it better if we add a background color to it. So like this. The color expands all the way, but the content stays in here. Okay, and that's for full width. And when using the section as regular, this content max width will be the width of the whole section. So if we reduce this and we'll see it bigger, we'll see that the whole section is that size. Okay, but for this example, I'm gonna keep it as full width with 1280 on the max width for the content. Next, we have the section border radius, and with this, we control the corners of the section. Right now it's 0, but if I increment this, you'll see that we're creating some curves around the edges. But for now, I'm gonna keep it as 0. Next, we have the top and bottom margin. So this is the outside distance from the section. Right now it's 20 pixels, but if we increment this, we'll make more room on the outside. The same with the bottom. And while the margin is the outside distance of the section, the padding is the inside distance. So right now by default is 0, so there's no room at the top of the section. But if we increment this, you'll see that we're adding that 32 pixels on the top. Okay, and we can also do it at the bottom like this. So right now it's 32 pixels up and down inside the section, and 66 and 64 on the outside. Okay, but maybe for this example, actually I'm gonna use 0 at the top and 0 at the bottom like this. And maybe on the alignment, I'm gonna put it back center like this. Okay, next we have the section horizontal padding, and with this we can control this distance on the inside like that. But for now, I'm gonna keep it as 0 like this. And maybe on the alignment of the button, I'm gonna put it back at the center. Okay, then we have the same settings for mobile, the top and bottom margin, top and bottom horizontal padding. Then we have the button styling, and we have the button margin top and margin bottom. So right now by default is 0, but if you increment this, you'll make more room inside of it. Okay, maybe right now we won't see it that much because we have the same background color, but let's say we have a color like this. This margin top controls this distance over here on the outside of the button. Okay, but maybe I'm gonna keep it as 0 for both the margin top and margin bottom because I'm already controlling that distance using the section top and bottom padding. But you can control it either way, with the margin top or with the padding. Next, we have the horizontal padding, and this is the inside distance of the button. So right now it's 20 pixels, but if we increment this, we add more room between the text and the corner of the button. The same with the vertical padding. So we can do something like this. I will add more room inside the button. Okay, next we have the text styling for the button, and in here we have a toggle for using the custom font. So when this is active, you can add a custom font from this list. For example, we can add something like this. Then we have the custom font family name. And this is in case you're loading a custom font or your theme. Let's say you're loading a Helvetica. You will add here that custom family name and the button will grab that font instead of this one. But on this example, I'm gonna leave it blank because I want to use this other font. Next, we have the font weight. And with this, we can control how bold the font looks. So for example, if we add something like this, we'll make this a little bolder. But for now, I'm gonna leave it as default. And actually, I'm gonna turn off the flicker effect and leave it like this. Okay, let's go back. Okay, then we have the button font size. Right now, we're using 0, so that means this font size will be determined by your theme. Okay, but if you want to customize that font size, you can do it using this field like this. The same with the letter spacing. So right now it's 0, so it's the theme's default. But if you want to customize it, you can do it using this field. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna keep it as 0. And maybe the font size is too big, so maybe I'm gonna keep it around there. Then we have the same options for mobile: margin top, margin bottom, horizontal padding, vertical padding, and the font size. Then down here we have the button borders. And the first option is the border radius. So right now it's 0, but if you increment this, you will control the corners of the button. So if we add more, we'll see it like that. Then we have the button border width, and by default it's 0, but if you increment this, you'll see that bordered around the button. Okay, next we have the button colors, and the first option is the text color, so you can add any custom colors in here, and the background color, we can change it, and also the border color, maybe like this. Then we have the button hover colors, and these colors are visible when a user puts the mouse over the button like this. Okay, so you can also adjust those colors. So maybe on hover, you can do something like that. You can also create an outline effect by removing the background color of it. Okay, and maybe the text color, we can add something like this, and the border color like this, and on hover like that. Okay, so you can create this effect. I use a background color only when hovering the button, but maybe this is too much. I'm gonna keep it 2 like this. Next, we have some additional button background options, and the first option is the background type. So by default is background color, so it will apply these buttons over here, but you can also select it to be gradient, and when using gradient, you can select your own colors like this. So maybe like this, and the second one like that. And we also have an option for hover. So let's say we add something like that. On hover, we'll see that background color changing with a gradient effect. So that's when using background gradient, but you can also select a background image. So when this is selected, you can add an image through here. So maybe we want something like this, okay? And on hover, we want that image to change. Okay, so you'll see that option. So maybe we can add a text color like this. When we hover the button, the background image changes, okay? And you can adjust that transition speed using this field. So if we do it like this, it'll be way faster, okay? But if we increment this, you'll see this effect, okay? But I really like the gradient effect, so I'm gonna keep it like this, okay? And maybe without any border at all, like this. And maybe the background color of the whole section can be the same as the other ones, so it looks more seamless. And we can reduce this like that. Okay, I really like how it looks, so I'm gonna save it, and that's it. Thank you again. If you have any questions or if you run into any issues, please don't hesitate to contact us via the support page on our website. Thank you again, and take care.